Okay, Kum. Salutations to the primes. 747 24/7, 361 degrees. Peace to the Messiahs. Peace to you and yours. I am Solar Prime Supreme 131, Lazarus Lamel of the Messiah Code movement. Let's get this party started. What's going on, y'all? It's 11/11. Today's date in the Codex is 7/22/13. That is Gav Gavuma. Gavuma. 7/22/13 Gavuma. What's up, Kum? Salutations, Ucha. I know we broadcasting a little bit on the late night, but it's 11/11. It's an angel number. It's an angel number. All right. So give me probably about 1 minute to set up the video, and I'll be ready. Shout out to the Orbra Coat in the building. Coom. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your time. All right. Excuse me. Now, if you can hear me loud and clear, hold up. Can y'all hear me? Let me put that in the comments section. Can you hear me clear? Can y'all hear me clear? Yes or no? All right. So yes or no? Sounds like I can be heard clearly. All right. That's nice. Yes. Okay. Great. So I have about 1 more minute of invite setting up the video. Please just get yourself comfortable, get yourself situated, and like I said, we'll begin the discussion, and we'll have a little bit of fun. We'll enjoy a great discussion about life. And I'm going to talk about the Messiah Code, of course. And tonight's discussion is going to be based upon the dark matter vortex. And this will be in the age of Aquarius, or what we call information, or also what we call Tanun. Okay. So I'm just about ready. I'm just about ready to begin. All right. What's up? Thank you. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your love. All right. So again, the I am radio. Isn't that something? The I am radio. So lately I've been having a discussion with the people about the cube. I've been talking about the matrix and so forth. I mean, everybody talks about it in some sort of way. It's cliche. If you want me to just express something to you, I feel it's just a little bit cliche the way people talk about it. But I feel as though in general they don't talk about it the way we talk about it. You know, everybody has a way that they express reality, but I want you to understand that these things are here for you to decode, or for you to be in a continuous loop. All right. If anything, I can say to you as a brother, as a father, as an uncle, or as just a friend. Okay. So the matrix is another thing for mind tricks, but the matrix is a womb of sort that brings us in a loop. But I told you the loops that they had us trapped in was a box. Now this box is another name for this box was called the cube. Now we explained the cube. We broke down the cube and the parameters of what the cube represents. All right. Remember, the cube had six sides attached to it. These six sides was also connected to carbon, the sixth element of the periodical table. And we broke this down. We went into the book of Revelations. We connected the dots on many things in reference to this. But tonight, I want to take you to the idea of turning yourself into the I am radio. It is my theory that we can make a connection to the ancestors, not just in the past, but we can connect with our descendants in the future as well. It is my theory. Now, I'm not going to say whatever. I don't want to argue with nobody about this. I just feel as though that we have a divine connection with everything. All right. And what I share with you is called the Messiah Code. The Messiah Code, it has been called by many things. And tomorrow they might call it by another name. But today we call it by the Messiah Code. A Messiah is a leader or savior of a particular group or a cause, or a Messiah is one who is preparated for war. All right. So the eyes are the doorway to the soul. This is one thing I want to say to you. The eyes are the doorway to the soul in any way to make this the divine connection. You know one thing about sorry, one thing about the eyes, the eyes can only see theirself in a reflection. Am I right? It can only see itself in a reflection. So the eyes are the doorway to the soul. All right. So let's start with that because we said the I am radio. Today's discussion is about the I am radio. How to functionally create or make yourself into an AM radio to connect to the ancestors or to your descendants in the future, or also make a connection to what you consider to be creation. All right. So now let's first break down the components of a radio or of the radio. You got the pineal gland and olfactory bulb, which I call personally the dual modulating circuit. Okay, and we'll get into that. We'll talk about how the heart is the carrier frequency oscillator, excuse me. We'll talk about the lungs being the antenna array, the spine being the transmission coil, the skin being a capacitor field, and the voice being the signal output, as well as the hands being the directional emitters, and the feet being the ground wire into the earth. We will talk about that today in today's or tonight's discussion. All right. And when we break down these components of the body, we will talk about how to make a divine connection. Okay. Now, first thing is that what we realize is this: you are a radio, not metaphorically speaking, not mystically. I mean, your body is a machine. All right. Your body is a machine. to connect up to the universe. This right here is the 131. Each one of us take a position within this body of what we call the Messiah. This right here is the upgraded body. All right. This is your galactical map, how you connect up to the stars and beyond. All right. So in AM, which is amplitude modulation, you don't send a signal by frequency, you send it by amplifying your intent. You shape the wave by how deep you feel. This is why they say energy is in motion. Okay? The human body is already a natural AM device. If anything, I can say to you. That's why you say I am in your affirmations. People wonder why they say blah, blah, blah. I am. I am this. I am fly. I am good. I am feeling great. I am everything. I am whatever you want to say in your affirmation. People wonder, why do you say I am to us? If you want to know, because the I am or the AM stands for amplitude modulation. All right, which is capable of sending spiritual messages to the ionosphere. The ancestors designed you this way. You see the frequencies right there. You see the hertz. Each one of those you can tap into. And then I have the equations right there. I put the equations right there on the screen for you to do the equations yourself. All right. So going back to the discussion, you are your own AM radio. You can create your own AM radio with your body. If you notice this is the cube. Now I broke this down in the mainframe. Remember when we was talking about this in the mainframe build? I broke down the cube. Remember this. Y'all remember when we was talking about this, the cube, right? We was talking about how we were trapped by Saturn. They wonder why in the Matrix, just breaking it down for anybody. Come on, man, let's take it to the next level. Look, why did you had to be called in the Matrix in the first place? Anybody can answer the question. If you want, answer the question. Why did you had to be called? See, the calling in the Matrix represented your purpose, but it went deeper than that. It went deeper than that because the calling represented the magic square of Saturn. Does it not look like a phone dialer? Like you, Gary, call somebody's phone number. This right here is the magic square of Saturn. This is the square that trapped us in the box. This was the box that we was trapped in. And I asked y'all, I said, man, when I broke it down, I said, pick a number between 1 and 31. I said, yo, your body, right? 131. That means your body is somewhere on that, or you or somewhere on that body, which operates between the frequency of 1 and 31. You see that? All right. So now when you break that down, 131, and we're not talking about the year because nobody know what year it is. We don't know what year it is. We talking about the moon and the sun, which is the month and the day. So when I say 131, everything that moves between the 1 and 31, all right, which is the alpha and omega, the beginning and the ending and the beginning. All right. And then if you go into gematria, you will see Al, which means the source, goes to 31. And even the first chapter of Genesis goes to 31 verses. So that's a 131 right there. But when I ask y'all birthday, nobody has the 0 number. That's why we are on Saturn or trapped within the box of Saturn. And only way you can balance this box, you were given all of these numbers. These numbers wasn't given to you like this. I just put them right here so you can see the numbers. They were given to you every way possible, so you couldn't see the balance in it. What you had to do is make these numbers have an equation, make them have balance. That's what you had to do. And how you did that was you crisscrossed it and you made it 15. You made it balanced at 15. That's why when you turn sweet 16, it means something. People say, well, why is it sweet 16 means something? Because when you get to 15, you're supposed to realize something at 15. You made all these numbers balance right here. Shout out to La'onk. The Messiah code is in the building. Shout out 1221. Love to you too. You already know. Let's get it. Let's get it, family. So y'all can understand these lessons. So y'all can get these lessons so we can move on to the cube. So we can turn the body into the AM radio, the IM, the 361-degree angle. You see that, which is the dot. All of this is in the equation. All of it. People like, yo, man, I want to take it to the next level. Let's go. Let's take it to the next level. Because meditation and connecting up to the universe is more than just going hum num reggae ki kyo, whatever you want to say. It's a calculated measure because you got to figure out, well, who or what you want to connect to. And we live in a system that's in harukment, in movement. So you got to move with it. And if you're not moving with it and you're not connecting up with the angles, and the angles are phonetically angels. And where do you get the light from? The light shines down from the angle, which is the angel. And that's why you go at the cube. When you're trapped in the cube, you go to the corner, because I broke that down to y'all. I said this: you can't kick the wall down, because wall backwards is law. The moment you try to kick down the box, this is the box that they put us in. The moment you try to kick the walls down, you're not going to be able to kick the walls down, because wall backwards is law. So they are there to trap you with the law. The moment you break the law or try to break the wall, guess what happens? The walls get smaller. The walls get smaller because you try to break them. And they say, yo, man, don't try to break the law. What is wrong with you? It's designed for your impact. It's designed for you to kick up against it and try to break it. And the moment you try and break it, the walls are going to close on you even more. So you have to figure out a way to get out of the box. And Saturn is really disciplined. Let me keep it real. You know, it's no hate against Saturn, because when I wear a necklace, I'm going to keep it real. When y'all wear a necklace, y'all are celebrating the rights of Saturn. Y'all are celebrating the rope or the rings of Saturn around your neck, and the dot represents the planet keeping everything in orbit. Let me keep it real. Anytime you adorn a necklace, you are worshiping Saturn. You are giving praise and worship to Saturn. And what I'm saying is, I'm not hating, is because Saturn is really disciplined. People will wonder, why are we here on this planet? What are we here for? It's really discipline. It's really discipline. And that's what Saturn is, the enforcer of discipline. In order to get past or get to a galactical horizon, you must first pass Saturn or crack the code of Saturn. And I gave it to y'all because nobody gave it to you. Let me keep it real, you know, or I shared it with you because it's a part of the Messiah Codex. All right. I shared these lessons with you because these codes needed to be cracked. All right. So you'll know what's going on. All right. So yeah, you had to go to the corner. And once you go to the corner is the angle. And this was at the corner for you. This was at the corner for you. All of these calculations, I'm going to break this stuff down for you in this discussion tonight, so you can understand or understand, or better yet, solar stand how to connect up with the multiverse. All right. Now, first you had to break Saturn. And that was it. And that was balancing these numbers with the number 15. All right. And that added up to 6. I told you the box has 6 freaking walls to it. When you look at a box, it has 6 faces to it. This sounds like a biblical verse in Ezekiel when he talked about he saw something with 6 faces and all of this stuff. People didn't know that he was seeing into other dimensions of thought. And I broke it down in the book of Revelations 21:16, how they are actually talking about this box. Come on, y'all. They are actually describing the box that they got us locked in the book of Revelation 21:16. And it's so significant because I told you the height of the object when I gave you the corner, when I gave you the cornerstone, I told you the height of it is sweet 16. It's sweet 16. Meaning that what we're doing is we're moving up to a higher echelon. Now we're moving into IPv6. All right. You were once utilizing eight bits of information. Now you're utilizing 16. If anything, I can share with you. Okay. But you broke this with Saturn. You broke Saturn by balancing the numbers with 15. And it was 6, which was carbon, which represented the lower state of man. You want to say, really? How it doesn't represent, how carbon doesn't represent the lower state of man when you feel as though you much more than what meets the eye? How does carbon, which is the sixth element, doesn't represent the lower state of man when you know that you are more than what meets your eye? When you see yourself, you feel you're more than what you're touching here. This is your lower self, carbon, which traps you. Even when you go into ancient Egypt, I can show you Egypt. When you do the math with the eye, oh man, the eye is only broken into 6 spaces in order to measure the world. They measure the world with the 6 spaces of the eye, the wajet. Yo, that's deep. That's really deep though. You know, look at this. Look at this. So we breaking down this AM radio, connecting the dots. All right. First of all, let's qualify the conversation for anybody that may or may not be new in here. How many degrees are in a circle? How many degrees are in a circle? Everybody should come up with the equation of 361. Please don't give me 360 because they lied to us. Look, that's the biggest lie ever. That's the biggest lie right in front of your face, like the rabbit. Like rabbits are associated with freaking um 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 rabbits are associated with eggs. That is a big lie. All right, Sister Lauren, so you new to the game. I got you. We breaking you out of the matrix, the mind tricks right now, Sister Lauren. We breaking you out. So shout out to the YouTube family. Hopefully you subscribe to the channel. Thank you. I prayed for you today, Sister Lauren, because every day I pray for somebody new to free from the mind tricks or what they call the matrix. All right. In my name, or I go by the appellation of Solar Prime Supreme 131 Lazarus Lamel. All right. And I humbly represent the Messiah Code movement. All right. So, sis, it's 361 degrees in the circle. The 1 degree that they forgot is the dot. The 1 degree that they forgot, sis, is the dot. So anybody in here, now y'all learned something. If anything that y'all learned from Messiah Code Technologies is that you learned that it's 361 degrees in a circle. Anybody coming on? How many degrees are in a circle? Put it in the comment section. I got you. You said I found out about you. Rod Hayes is one of my master teachers. If you want to know, Brother Rod Hayes is a master teacher of mine. Okay, definitely. I learn from him all the time. and he teaches me many things. We sit back and talk and have a great conversation, and we layer up, and he gives me more things, you know. But I'm gonna keep on sharing these thoughts with you. How many degrees are in a circle? It's 361. Thank you, Jack. It's 361 degrees in a circle. Anybody else? Put it in the comment section. Share the video. Don't be shy. All right. It's 361 degrees. That's the first trick you got to crack. You got to crack that 361 degrees, because I'm gonna tell you why. Look, they put us outside of the circle. When you outside of the circle, that's 360. Yeah, they gave us the 360. That's three sixes. Three sixes. You see that? That's 360. But we 361. Why? Because we stand in the center of the circle. We the dot. We the dot that stands in the center, the dot, the DOT, the thought, the thought that stands in the middle of the circle. And everything started from that center. Everything moved around that center, even though it's the hidden principle. It's like in the quantum world when they count the observer, all right, or when they count the fact that when you observe something, you got to add to the equation. All right, so now we know it's 361 degrees. We can move forward with the conversation. Now I can give you the equations, because I can't give you the equations if you don't first know that it's 361 degrees. Now, excuse me. Let's go. Let's move forward. So now in AM or amplitude modulation, you don't send the signal by frequency, you send it by amplifying your intent. You shape the wave by how deep you feel. This is why emotion is what, y'all? You can say it. Go ahead and say it. Emotion is energy in motion. In motion. That's the first thing that you learn about amplitude modulation. You don't send a signal by frequency. You send it by amplifying your intent. You ever feel so deep about something and you want to channel it to the universe? Now, for anybody coming on here, we talk about turning your body into the AM radio, turning yourself into an AM radio, like how the periodic table elements and such have their orbitals, or orbitals, orbitals, a kind of, yeah, it's like that, you know. Now, watch this. Let's further qualify this conversation. So now, the human body is already a natural AM device capable of sending spiritual messages to the ionosphere. The ionosphere, ladies and gentlemen, gods and goddesses, kings and queens, emperors and empresses. All right? To the ionosphere. The planet tuned itself to you. Now, I break this down and such because you got to ask yourself first, what is the ionosphere? The ionosphere is a dynamic layer of Earth's upper atmosphere extending roughly about what, 30 miles to 600 miles above sea level. It's a region where gases are ionized by solar and cosmic radiation, meaning that atoms and molecules have lost or gained electrons, creating electrically charged particles, ions, and free electrons. Meaning that you have the opportunity to charge this this plasma up with with the energy that you have to give, if I can say it like that. All right. You might say, well, how is that? Because it's something that is called Schumann's base, or Schumann Hertz. All right. And this is connected up to the natural rhythm or the natural tone of the earth. And each one of us have a natural frequency or natural way to connect up to the earth. Why do you think they gave us rubber shoes? They gave us a lot of things to disconnect us from Mother Earth. They put a lot of cement out here, and then they put us in different situations like classrooms where we don't connect up with the grass, or we don't connect up with the earth, or we're not touching things that's connected with the earth. Because if we're able to touch it, guess what happens? You get attuned to it. So they put you in things like, boxes, the cube. They put you like in Schumann's resonance. That's what it's called, Schumann's resonance, correct? Which is at 7.83 hertz. Now, in order to tap into Schumann's resonance, you have to double it. You have to keep on doubling it. Now you go to the higher frequencies. That's why if you look in this equation right here, I show you. Let me see if I can show you all this. I'm gonna go back a couple slides. It's in the equation. I showed you right here in the equation. I love to hug trees. Yes, you hug trees, stand on roots. This is all about the ionosphere. See, the ionosphere is a plasma. All right. The ionosphere is similar to a noctaning membrane. All right. A noctaning membrane, it enables certain animals to see in the dark, or enable to them to see in the light, like to see in the sun's light. All right. Or noctaning membrane, if you develop a noctaning membrane, somebody they asked me, well, Lamel, why do you blindfold yourself at times? Because I might spend days where I blindfold myself, in my meditations. And people wonder why I do that. This is to develop the noctaning membrane, all right, to be able to see in the dark. Because, we have four sacred creatures that are associated with the higher state of consciousness, which is shell, male, cow, and sail. And this represents the fourfold symmetry of the mind. All right. This is how you break out of the box, knowing the fourfold symmetry of the mind. You don't just know two because you got the two hemispheres of the brain. No, you know two times two, which is four. All right, which is the four-part symmetry. Now, you might say, well, break it down, because you got shell, which represents the turtle. Then you got male, which represents the owl. All right. Now, the shell or the turtle represents the ancestor, the great ancestor. All right. That has the calendar right on its back, the turtle. Okay. But also, you have the owl that sees through the darkness of disparity, and it turns its head in a 361-degree angle, not 360. All right. It's the bird that can see through the darkness of disparity, the owl. And don't you know, let's say everybody say ow. Now, I'm playing with y'all, but when you say ow, guess what you saying? L. I'm gonna keep it real. Look, 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 look. Watch me break this stuff down. Everybody say ow. You say ow, because ow is L, but ow is also owl, right? Like AL and AL, because you got L and owl, and all of these are phonetically the same thing. It's a secret, y'all. I'm sharing with y'all. Owl, owl, and L. They're all connected. They're connected. I hear owls all the time. Look at this. Check this. The owl, L, and owl are phonetically connected. So you will know the sacred name, the secret name. You say, for real? I'm telling you. I'm telling you the truth. Listen, so you can know the secret name. This is why the owl and the L are connected. You say, explain it. Because if I go into ancient Egypt, right? What is the symbol for an owl? All right. It's the symbol for an owl, or the phonetic sound for an owl, is an M. All right. A M equals an owl. Go check it out. Matter of fact, I'll show you it on my screen real quick. I'll show y'all that on my screen. That an owl, you if you look at the M, the letter M, right? The letter M, why does it have the beak going down? Because that beak going down on the letter M represents the owl's nose. That represents the owl's nose. That's why this letter M is actually a hieroglyphic um image that they grafted into the English alphabet. That's wild. I'm not lying to you. I'm telling you the truth. So owl, L, and owl, L were always connected, and thus you get the name what? This is what name you get when you scramble it up. You get the name Lamel. You get the Lamel, which is the great owl, which is the great owl. Lamel. That's what you get when you break it down. And Lamel is the sacred name and a sacred number, because when you break Lamel down, you also get Lamel, Lamel, which is which equals I am L. Come on, y'all, pay attention, please. I'm trying to tell you, this is serious code cracking. Lamel is I am L. I am L. I am he. I am he. That's what it's saying. That's what this name is saying. And that's why it's 131. 131, 131 is every name, every number that flows between those dots. All right. That's the 1 through 31, which equals the sacred name and a sacred number, which is the lamb. All right. Let's break this down. Let's break this down. So, you know, and then we're going to break this down. I took you to this is in the Messiah Code. For anybody that studies the Messiah Code, you can get any one of these books from Amazon or go to the website. All right. But let me share some thoughts with you about this in reference to the Codex. All right. And let's see how this goes. So this is a 131 memorandum. All right. So you will know a little bit about the Messiah Code. So there is no beginning, no ending, only harukment, movement. The moment you think you have arrived at the beginning, you only completed something. Life is a continuous. Life is a loop of continuums, cycles feeding cycles. All right. So what people call spiritual awakening is just the system rebooting. A command was entered long ago, and now your soul is responding to it. This is not new. It is a memory resurfacing. All right. This is something that I wanted to share with a lot of people. You know, when we think about the Codex is the trunk of a tree. Imagine if a tree chopped down. We all came from the family tree or the tree of life, which was chopped down. But the roots still remain because the Codex represents the trunk of the tree. Essentially, they was writing on the trunk of a tree when they was writing down their history or connecting to the roots. All right. So now we're going to talk about breaking out of the box, turning yourself into the I am radio or to the AM radio. We know about the ionosphere being the plasma of the planet, and we know about amplitude modulation, which create your which basically your flower of life. The signals that you create a flower of life. Each signal that you modulate actually has a geometrical shape attached to it, based upon, I'm gonna tell you, based upon, you might say, let's say your sound, you calculate sound, how sound moves within a cube, or how sound moves within a prism, or how sound moves in a rectangular prism, or how sound moves within a sphere. You calculate all these things when you are chanting or or amplifying your intent. Because remember, amplitude modulation comes from your intent because it's energy in motion. All right. Let me move forward. All right. So we know about the ionosphere. Okay. So I broke this symbol before. Okay. That's what's up. You really need to sing in order to make this happen because you, in the book of Revelations, they said they're going to be singing a new song. These are all the calculations right here in order to break out of the box, one portion of it. Okay. Now, you might say, break this stuff down. Okay. I broke this down the in the mainframe discussion when we was talking about Saturn and how to balance the square of Saturn, the magic square of Saturn. The numbers added up to 15, and this would lead you to the corner. Now, the corner in ancient Hebrew would be Dabir, and that would be also translated as matrix, okay, which would be the innermost sanctuary of the temple. In most cases, that would be the mirror. That would be the mirror. That's why the Messiah told you go to the closet and pray, because you don't go to closet and you go to the closet and dress up. You go to the closet and dress up, but you need the mirror when you go to the closet so you can know what you look like. And the only way the eye can see itself is through a reflection. Look, this was the box. This is like something like the Tesseract, but it's also in motion. You got to break out of this box. And I told you the only way you break out of it is moving through the angles or the angels. You got to move through the angles or the angels. All right. In order to get out of this box. And this is why you are channeling your voice in an angular citation. That's why you're channeling your voice that way. You're channeling your tone. All right. And I'll show you the equations of this. All right, let's move forward. So your heart is the carrier wave. Every beat generates electromagnetic rhythm. That's your bass tone, the carrier frequency in all modulation equations. All right. So remember, I took you to this. This is the first thing I took y'all to. I said, I am the I am radio. I am the AM radio. But what I'm saying is the heart is the carrier frequency oscillator. All right. I will talk about the dual modulating circuit, which is the olfactory bulb and the pineal gland, because I know a lot of people are curious about that. Okay. Because a lot of people talk about the pineal gland as a way to connect up to the higher existence, but it goes deeper than that because you need the olfactory bulb too. This is your dual modulating circuit. All right. Now they act as a transducer of your energy. Okay, like transferring one energy to the next. That's what a transducer does. So you got your dual modulating circuit, which is your olfactory bulb and your pineal gland. See, when you smell things and you start to remember stuff, that's your olfactory bulb in operation. Your olfactory bulb is right here, yo. Your olfactory bulb is right here. Your pineal gland is not right here. A lot of times when you put the dot right here, guess where you putting the dot at? You know when they put the bendy right here, when y'all put the bendy right here, y'all wonder y'all putting it in the pineal gland. No, the pineal gland is deep in the thalamus or the something thalamus of the brain. It's deep within the brain. It's deep within the brain. It's not right here. What you putting that bendy on that dot is on the olfactory bulb so you can remember. Because when you smell things, you start to remember. You start to remember. You can smell certain things but that is the way to connect up to the third eye. You need the dual modulating circuit. All right. And that's what this, the hypothalamus. Thank you, babe. The hypothalamus. That's what the pineal gland is hooked up to. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Hypothalamus. All right. But let's go into the olfactory bulb because y'all some whiz kids. I got some whiz kids in the building. Let's move forward. All right. So these are a couple of equations. You can screenshot this for anybody. These are a couple of equations to turning yourself into the AM radio. And I'll plug in all the values in this. So you'll be able to do these equations yourself in your own home. All right. And turn yourself into the IM or the AM radio. All right. Now, the lungs are the antenna. The breath is how you tune into the air. Hear me out. The lungs are the antenna. Many would think that your hands, yeah, your hands are an antenna, but they're not the real antenna you think. Your lungs and your breath are the antenna because you're sending the signals out through your breath, and your lungs are channeling this energy. All right. So your inhale is the signal receiver. Your exhale is the transmitter. Listen closely. Listen, Lauren, I got you. A lot of people tend to think that let's say you only have 9 numbers, like 1 through 9 and no number after 9. We just squashed that with that 361 degrees. We just squashed that. Y'all, now you broke the 9 because once you broke that, then you broke the loop of the 9 because everything times 9 equals itself. So you broke that loop of 9. The same way you broke the loop of the 6 because the 6 was a loop, the same way the 9 was a loop. All of those was loops to trap you in. Don't get fancy talking about, oh man, everything adds to 9 and make that associated with melanin. No, I'm good with that. No, we out of this trap. We out of this trap. We busting traps, but we out of the trap. Shout out to Kimberly, Messiah Cole All Star. Hear me out. The 9 left you in a loop, in a trap, and the 6 left you in a trap. We breaking out of that. Okay. So now you got to think about irrational numbers. Like for instance, pi. Pi is a irrational number. Yo, I caught the live. Shout out to California. Pi is an irrational number. You hear me? In order to find the circumference of a circle, what do you need? You need pi, honey. Look, man, I can take y'all to the book of Revelations, man. This is deep. This is deep. Where do they get pi from? Man, I don't know if I can show it on here. Revelations 3:14. Revelations, will it show it on my joint? Revelations 3:14. 3:14 is pi, right? Okay. Well, if you go into the book of Revelations 3:14, man, it's crazy. Out to California. Yo, no. Yo, I hope we back, y'all. Yo, Did y'all just hear what I just said? Oh my goodness. This is like a book of Revelation moment. Okay, I'm back. When you go into Revelations 3:14, it says, "These things says the Amen, the faithful, the true witness, the beginning of the creation of God." And people didn't know what that mean. People thinking the Amen. The Amen. You know what the Amen was? It's the hidden one. The Amen is the hidden one. The dot. The dot. Revelations 3:14 is talking about pi. It's talking about pi as an irrational number that was there from God's beginning of creation. Yo, shout out to Armani. What's up? Peace. Thank you, fam. We got a crazy build in here. Armani, how many degrees in a circle, King? How many degrees in a circle, fam? It should be three. You should come up with the calculation of 361 degrees. And that's what we talking about. That's what we talking about, fam. So I said that it's more numbers than nine numbers. It's more numbers than nine numbers because you got to think about irrational numbers like pi. What about Euler's number? Yo, what about Euler's number? Euler's number is an irrational number. Like we talk about numbers that go on forever. You need these numbers for mathematical formulas. How else you going to find the circumference, the radius? How else you going to figure out a circle if you don't have pi? I mean, you go and do it. You go and figure it out. You go and do the math. You need it. And now you go and tell me that pi is not a number because it's a letter. Now, letters aren't numbers. Letters are numbers as well. You just got to add value or plug in value to them. All right. So, look, your lungs are the antenna. The breath is how you tune into the air. You inhale. Your inhale is the signal receiver. Your exhale is the transmitter. So, the reason why I brought up irrational numbers in here, because when you do your breath cycles, yo, I know it glitched. We was glitching, yo. Listen, when you breathe in, you're going to have to utilize irrational numbers for your breath cycles. You can't utilize regular flat numbers or linear numbers. You got to have numbers that move in a curvature of time and space because that's how your breath moves or how sound it moves in a or life itself it moves in a curve like how a woman's belly is. It moves in a curve. You get what I'm saying? So that's what you got to think about when you think about doing all of your equations. All right, when you putting all of this stuff together, that's why I said, yeah, the spiral. Now we talking about different numbers that are classified as irrational numbers, but they're still numbers. There are other numbers besides nine, 1 through 9. I'm bringing y'all out of the box. Now remember, yo, listen, man, this is deep. This stuff is deep. Yo, look at this. So look, Kim, check this stuff. So we broke down the box, right? We broke down the box in the mainframe, right? Look, this stuff is deep. This stuff will blow your freaking mind. Do you see that? A box has 6 faces. It has 12 edges, which are the lines, right? And it has 8 vertices. That's why I said that you got to look. It's 8 components. It's 8 components in order to create your AM radio. Look. It's 8 components. In order to create your AM radio, it's 8 components. The number 8 deals with the eyes. The eyes. Because if you look at your eyes, they look like the infinity or the number 8. I'm trying to tell you, man. Can I get a share if you care? Can I get 10 shares if you care? Look at this. So Look at a box. So this is the box that they put us in. It has 6 faces, which is connected to carbon. All right. That was the 6 faces. Then you got the 12 edges. Those are the lines. The 12 lines represent the 12 zodiac signs. Pay attention, please. It represents the 12 hours of the equinox, day and night. That's your 24 hours that they gave us of what they perceive reality. This is a box, a freaking box. Look at this. 8 vertices. Yeah, watch this. Watch this. Watch the box. When you draw, oh, I took y'all to Book of Revelations. There it is, right there. Book of Revelation 21:16. It says it right there. They describing it. They said, and a city lieth 4 square, and the length is the as large as the breadth. And he measured. Who is he that measured? You know who he is measured. It's Lamel, the city with a reed, right? 12,000 furlongs, and the length and the breadth and the height of it are equal. Does this not sound like somebody describing a box to you? The revel Man, come on, man. Listen, this is what they was telling you in the book of Revelations, what they was pulling you out of. This is the shit that they was getting you out of. Pardon me for cussing, but I really mean this. Listen, this is a code cracked. This is a code cracked. Pay attention. What's so deep is, yo, man, if you take all of these things, man, I'm gonna show y'all in the build. I'm gonna show y'all in the build. The book of the Revelations was talking about they put us in a fucking box. Pardon me for cussing, but I really mean this from my heart. They put us in a box, y'all, and it ain't no joke. It ain't no joke. We breaking out of this box, though. We breaking out of the cube that they put us in. Yeah, that's what they describing in the book of Revelations. Trying to tell you, man. Yo, man, this is real stuff. So look, so thank you. Thank you, Christina. I pray for you today. I pray for you to come. I pray for you to come here because every day I pray to free one soul from the matrix. I pray to free one soul. Listen, before I get on a broadcast, all I do is I pray for one soul. If I get more than one, thank you, Most High God. Real talk. Real talk. Listen how I break this stuff down. This is Lamel. This is not me. This is the network. All right. Look. So yeah. So those are the components to break out because you need the AM radio. Because look, I broke this stuff down, right? Because y'all had to hear this build. A lot of y'all didn't get this, right? A lot of y'all didn't get this, right? I gave y'all 1 through 31. I said y'all birthday, no problem. Thank you. I said your birthday, all of y'all birthdays are between a 1 and 31 number. I said that. Listen, this is the sacred name and the sacred number 131, which is LML, Lamel. All right. Look, watch this. Not the year, because we don't know what year it is. Nobody knows what year it is. You want to go to back to 1582, with Pope Gregory the 13th when he switched up the calendar? Stop it. We don't know what year it is. We just know the cycles of things. So watch this. So now that y'all know that, this is with Saturn. Saturn, I told y'all, Saturn is the box that they put us in. When y'all said man went to the moon, they was talking about man only went to Saturn. Man realized that he was trapped on Saturn. When they said this is a riddle for y'all, when they said man went to the moon, it was only man went to Saturn. He realized that he was trapped on freaking Saturn and thinking he on Earth. Like, damn, man, this was the box. That's why in the Matrix, people say, well, why the hell you got to be called in the Matrix? Why the hell you got to be called in the Matrix to get out? Why the hell you got to be called? Because the magic square of Saturn, duh, it looks like a foam. It looked like a phone dialer. Like you about to call somebody's phone number up or something. Like you calling somebody's phone number. But guess what, y'all? Guess what? Guess what? Guess what? It's no zero on here. Remember in the Matrix, in order to get your ass out, you had to first dial the operator like, "Who? Hello? Yeah, yo, Tank, I'm right here." He like, "For real? Okay, well, I got a landline. I got a landline over here. Am I right?" You had to, so y'all look on here and y'all say, "Man, where the fuck is the," excuse my language, where is the operator? I need to call the operator because I want to get out of the matrix because I need to tell them where I'm at because I'm right here on Earth right now. I'm right here in the hood. I'm right here in the hood right now. And yo, Tank, yo, dog, I'm in the hood. Tell me where the landline is so I can get out of this matrix. But in the Magic Square Saturn, man, they don't give you no operator. You can't get to the operator unless you know the code. Unless you know the code to get to the operator. And what is the secret code? I asked the people this, and this is a test. This is an IQ test for everybody on here. What is the code to get to the operator? Because if you don't have a zero, how would you get to the operator? This is a code. This is a IQ test for everybody. Now, whatever number that you guess to get to the operator or whatever combination of numbers to get to operator, you are not wrong. I'm gonna say this, but you not wrong because you guessed it from your heart, but you wrong. That's not the number to get up to the operator. It is only a sequence of numbers to get to the operator. You said 314. Tora Madonna said 314. I like that. That was pi. 1111. Thea, you cheating. Thea cheating. She Thea cheating. I love you. The code to get to it to get to the operator is 1111. Don't laugh. I know you laughing right now. Look, you spoiled it. I got y'all, man. We gotta put some suspense on this though. Listen, look. The code to get to the operator is 1111. I got you, Laura. No, it's 1111. That's the code because remember this, right? I gave y'all this. This is the thing with Saturn. Saturn, I said, what is the secret number of Saturn, which is the number 15, right? Because you make all the numbers balance each other with the 5 in the middle because it's magic. 5 is the number of magic. Why do you know 5 is the number of magic? Because you got 5 forms of magic. You got white magic, you got black magic, you got divination, you got sorcery, and you got love. And all of them bow to love because love is the greatest magic of them all. Love is the greatest magic. But you got 5 forms of magic. That's why the number 5 is in the magic square of Saturn. And you utilize that 5 to balance them all. And you get to number 15, and 15 adds to 6, which is the 6th planet, Saturn, which they trapped us on. But in order to dial the operator, in order to call up Saturn, you have to dial 1111. All right? You have to dial that love frequency, 1111, which is your angel. Now, people wonder, well, why is it 1111? Now, this is binary. This is not what you think. The reason why I say 1111 because it's binary. Okay? I'll show you the binary chart. When you look at a binary chart, in order to dial number 15, you dial 1111. I'll show you a binary chart. When you dial in binary 15, 1111 is 15. 111 is 7. But 1111 is 15. So you dial in the operator, which is Saturn. And this is what I told you, the box that they had us trapped in. You know what's so deep about this number? if you multiply these numbers times each other, 6 times 12 times 8, don't you know you get 576? And 576 is 24 square. That's deep. I'm trying to tell you, they got us in a box. The 24 squares, the 24 hours. Look, man, yo, I broke that down with Revelations, man. I hope y'all caught that one. I hope y'all caught that one when I showed y'all the prison. I showed y'all the prison that in the book of Revelation they speak of that they breaking you out of, that we breaking you out of. All right, they speak about it. This is the prison. This is the description of the hell in the cell. The hell in the cell. Listen, you trapped in the box. This is the cell that you trapped in. The cell, the hell in the cell. This is the jail cell right here. We doing time. We doing time. And everybody's trying to get out of the box. Say, man, I'm trying to get out of this box, but I don't want to die, but I want to get out of the box. I want to travel. I want to go somewhere, but I seem to can't get out of this box because I'm trapped in the box. Well, you got to know certain things in order to get out of the box. You got to turn yourself into the AM radio. And you first got to know the components of a radio or of your body, which is going to transfer into the AM radio. And like I said, the pineal gland and the olfactory bulb are the dual modulating circuit. The heart is the carrier frequency oscillator. Then you got the lungs, that's an antenna array. Then you got the spine, that's a transmission coil. The skin is the capacitor field. The voice is the signal output. The hands, they are your directional emitters. And then you got your feet as your ground wire into the earth. All right. Now this is your start. This is your start. Now you got to have the mindset in order to break out of this prison. Because, one of the things that the Messiah said, man, I'm from above, you from below. He keep on talking about like heavenly things, and in my father's house is many mansions. Like, how the hell can you fit a house in a mansion or a mansion in a house? That don't make sense. But he's breaking it down, telling you, man, y'all are stop thinking this earthly. Like, what if I tell you this? That once you change yourself or you're able to send up signals into the ionosphere, you're able to send and receive signals back and forth. All right. Once you're able to do this, okay. But first thing first, let's break out of this hell in the cell. Let's break out of this hell in the cell. All right. Meaning that we got to think differently. Okay. Now you know the dimensions of the box that they put us in. Let's move forward. All right. So I broke down the atomic structure of carbon. I said this is your 666. This is the lower state of man. When you go into the book of Revelations, this is really talking about the lower state of man in reference to carbon. And people like to fashion carbon like, oh man, carbon is all this. Carbon. No, carbon represents the lower state of man and woman. All right. It represents the box that they put us in. It's part of the components of the box that they put us in. Now, first things first, I want y'all to start thinking outside of the box. When y'all see this, I want y'all to see this. Start seeing three-dimensionally. Let's stop seeing things like two-dimensional. Two-dimensional is through your eyes. Three-dimensional is through your olfactory bulb and your pineal gland. All right, or your third eye. Okay, and you operate from the dot. This is the height of the object, which is 16. All right. So when you see any one of these sacred geometrical shapes, what do you see? You see a dot in the middle, which equals 361 degrees. All right. You see that dot in the middle because you are the dot. Now you see this right here. Again, this represents the open eye. When you see that triangle, when you see that the cube, you see where the cube is turned like that. It represents the open eye. It represents your open eye, and that triangle is what you knows, and the circle represents the world. This is how you scope life. If you don't turn the square, this square is closed. You understand? So this is, look, watch this. Watch this real quick. This square right here is the lock. Watch this. I'm gonna show you. Because with the 12 lines, 12 times itself is 144,000, right? The 144,000. The 144 represented 144 locks. The 144 locks are the hertz which a human ear can hear. When we talk about the sample rate, it goes 44.1 hertz. All right, that's the same thing. Now look at this. Now the square, watch this. That was the square when you unlocked it. When you unlocked the square, when you unlocked the square, it became a diamond. And that's when I said you became the diamond, because you were under pressures, the pressure of the world. You was under pressure because you was different, or you was thinking different in such a way. You was under so much pressure that either it was going to break you, or you became a diamond. And you chose to become a diamond. So that's when your eye was wide open to the secrets that were kept sacred. All right. So you became that diamond in the rough. Now, boom. Now, in order to create the I am radio, all right, you know the components. I broke this stuff down. All right. Let me move forward with this so y'all can know this stuff. I'm gonna get to the calculations. I'm gonna get to all these calculations because the frequency, you see, four 15 hertz, and then I'm using energy and times pi plus one, because I'm talking about the dot in the middle of the circle. These equations always have the dot in the middle. They always have that dot in the middle. Okay, so now your pineal gland, all right, is basically, excuse me, your pineal gland is your internal signal converter. All right, your soul's transducer. Now, remember, I was saying the transducer is to convert one energy to another energy. That's what a transducer does. All right. Yet it doesn't work alone, because the olfactory bulb, which is right above the nasal cavity, is its secret partner. These two form a dual modulating system. The pineal sees in light, and the olfactory detects scent. All right. Sort of like feeling in your meditative world. Like you got one, that's why I said it's the dual modulating system, because the pineal gland is for you to see in your meditative world, and your olfactory system is for you to feel in your meditative world. All right. These are other calculations. Volume. Volume is equal to a cubed. All right. Now you see the 6 sides squared. All right, which is square root of 2. Now let me break this stuff down real quick. Okay, because if you notice, right, your area. First of all, you got to realize that we in a book. What we're living in is somewhat of a book. You say, why is that? All right, because you go to and fro in the earth, right? That's and then you create your area from going to and fro, and you learn to master your area. But then you got your height. Your height is what? It's how much you're willing to endure. What you're willing to endure is your height. So when you multiply area times height, what do you get? What do you get, y'all? When you multiply, for all my math whizzes in here, you get volume. Some people think that volume, I'm talking about a volume of books, like a volume of books, like a library. What if I tell you about volume is really sound frequency? You get volume because when your mother and father, when they first, it was an inception. It wasn't a conception before inception, but after the inception, then it was a conception. All right. When that big bang happened, they created a sound, and that sound is you. And the utterance is your life. And it echoes in the chambers of the cell that you trapped in, that the sound is trapped in. Why you think when it's known for when somebody transcend or when they pass away, what do? They give up the breath. They give up the sound. You think it's a breath, but it's a sound that they give up. Just like Allah, you think Allah is a name. Allah is actually a action. Allah is Allah isn't like when you say Allah, you're really mispronouncing it. It's it's breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has 99 names associated with him or her. All right? Let me keep it real. Yo, I'm gonna keep it real. Yeah, but volume. That's why I said Allah is really a breath. When you're born, when you're created, the Big Bang, the sound, when that sperm hit the egg, it was a Big Bang sound. It was a sound. And that sound kept on vibrating. And that sound started turning like echoing. It started ooh. And then it started and it started um how can I say it solidified. The sound solidified. That sound solidified into a body. We call this a body, but it's just nothing but a sound echoing in the chamber. That's the only thing I can explain it as. Why you think you connect up with the universe or connect up with the stars? Because you're using a sound modulation. You're using some sort of modulation of sound, which is your soul. Your soul is sound. It's the component, the main components or ingredients of your soul is sound resonance. Now, somebody explain what is resonance here. Somebody explain what is resonance. I'll explain it for you just in case. If you don't know what resonance is, because I hear a lot of people talk about resonance when they talk about chanting, being spiritual, and we're going to talk about what resonance is. So let's pretend we are making a sound and it's in a tube. All right. So if I'm making a sound in a tube, this is resonance, right? For anybody doing meditation, because we're talking about creating the AM radio. All right. So when you make a sound into a tube or into a chamber of sort or into the physical world, guess what it does? It it goes somewhere and it bounces back to you. It goes somewhere, it hits up against something, whether it hits up against that wall or it hits up against the air, it bounces back to you. There are calculations for that, how your breath or how your sound is impacted and how it resonates with whatever environment you in, whether you're in a structure that is a cube or whatever, where you're in air, or even the temperature of the air has to be a part of your calculation. All right. So when I make a sound and it bounces back to me, let's say I say Zawalu, or I say yeah, and I say yeah, and that yeah goes there, and then it comes back, and then I go yeah, yeah, yeah. What happens is when that yeah comes back, I give it that much more power when I say yeah, just at the right moment. Just at the right moment. If I do it right at the right moment when it comes back, yeah, I make it like I amplify its power. This is resonance. And what happens when it comes back, right? And you just keep on doing that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It gets stronger and stronger. The signal gets that much more powerful. That's why I said, man, you turn yourself into the AM radio, but you got to know what you're doing. You got to know its purpose what you're doing when you're doing this. And as you're doing that, you're creating resonance. What happens is the signal gets stronger. And now you start to create Schumann's resonance. And it starts to go up. And it needs to collect somewhere because all energy goes somewhere. It needs to solidify in some way as well because it needs to go somewhere. So now you're creating resonance. It's other ways to create resonance too, because now you got pulsating resonance. Like, let's say it comes as it's coming back, you like, yeah, 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 yeah. So now you hit 4 yeahs, boom, 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 and it's coming back, whap, and then you hit it with a yeah, yeah, and now you got boom, 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 boom. This is modulating your signal. This is how you modulate, utilizing resonance. This is how you create modulation. All right. And this is how you break out of the box. Essentially, remember 361 degrees in a circle. You can screenshot this right here. Anybody. This is for your own homework. For your own homework in your meditation. For your own calculations. So now what I share with you about resonance in the language of symmetry, how these things connect up. Let's move forward. All right. So the starting point, our signal equation. Thank you. Shout out to the goddess. Bankstar in the building. Messiah Code All Star. Look at this. So remember what I was talking about the transducer. I said you have a dual modulating circuit, which is your olfactory bulb and your pineal gland. And a transducer basically transfers one energy to the next. All right. So now they utilize transducers for like microphones, loudspeakers, thermometer position, and pressure sensors, and antenna. They use transducers for all types of reasons. So if your olfactory bulb and your pineal gland, because you're breathing in, you're first breathing in. So when you, that's why I said, in order to ignite it, you don't breathe in your mouth. No, you breathe in and breathe out, not through your mouth. Breathe all the way in and out through your nose because you can inhale, exhale. And then when you begin to chant, that's when you go out your mouth only. But as you revving up the circuit, you breathing in and out your nose in your meditation. These are your transducer. And this right here will open the gateway. Okay. So now, as we are operating from the dot, we know that it's 361 degrees in a circle. For the people that are just coming in on the YouTube, for the people that are just coming in on the Facebook, all right, we have qualified that there are 361 degrees in a circle. All right. We are talking about the dot that is in the middle of the circle. That is the extra degree. All right. The dot. All right. We began the conversation talking about how the eyes are the doorway to the soul. So the dot would be also symbolic of the eye. And the only way the eye can see itself is through. Okay. So moving forward, you know, I was taking you to the components of the AM radio and how to create this device. And then I was talking about the pineal gland, and thank you for the people that brought it up. It's connected to the hypothalamus area of the brain. All right. But I brought you to the olfactory bulb, and I said that these are dual modulating circuits. All right. The olfactory bulb. Okay. Which is above the nasal cavity. Okay. Now, the olfactory bulb, excuse me, The olfactory bulb, right above the nasal cavity, is its secret partner. We talk about the pineal gland. These two form a dual modulating system. The pineal sees the light, the olfactory detects the scent. Remember, we was talking about that. Together they form light scent fusion. Okay? I want y'all to this is something that's in the Codex. These are in the lessons of the Codex. This is called light scent fusion, a sensory field that modulates frequency and thought. Okay. So you need partners in this game. Okay. When we talking about this, the olfactory bulb, and I'm showing you where the olfactory bulb is for anybody looking. I'm showing you where the olfactory bulb is so you have an idea of the location of this special gland. All right. The olfactory bulb is connected to the receptor cells in the nasal cavity. It sends input to to the piriform cortex at the top of the brain before it goes to the hypothalamus and the dorsal medial. You see that before it goes to the hypothalamus, it has to go there. That's why I said they work together. They work together. All right. Move forward. So, what's so important about the olfactory bulb? The olfactory bulb connects directly to limbic memory. All right. This means smell pulls emotion from the past. That's stored amplitude. You hear me? That's stored amplitude fuel for signal and strength. Now, remember, we first talked about how energy and motion, because a lot of these calculations deal with your intent. That's your emotion. You measure your intent. Your intent is part of the energy of the signal. All right. So that's why this is so important. So like when you're going into your limbic memory system, you're tapping into why are you doing this? Let's say if you want to be connected to your ancestors in a certain type of way, and you say, well, I want to be connected to my mom. I want to be connected to my grandma. The memory of them and the love that you share with them, the emotional attachment will be the amplitude for you to modulate. All right. So moving forward. So now this is all about turning yourself into the I am radio. So I am is AM, which is amplitude modulation. All right, so limbic memory refers to the process by which the limbic system, a group of brain structures, plays a crucial role in the formation of consolidation and retrieval of memories, particularly those with emotional components. All right, we know that. It's just something that I looked up that I wanted to put it in there. So the hypothalamus, I put that amygdala, all of that stuff, structure of the brain, I am. We saw this. Now I brought you to Schumann's base, and then I'm bringing you to the tones that are connected to Schumann's base, so you'll know how to connect up. Now somebody said, "Well, how am I supposed to connect up with these hertz or frequencies in certain type of way?" Well, one way to do it is to get a pitchfork. They have certain pitchforks that are tuned to certain frequencies. All right, you can do that. Or they have also, you can just YouTube it. Sometimes you can trust it, sometimes you can't. But some YouTubes, they have a tune to these, and all you do is just hum to that tune, and you can change your body frequency to that hertz. If anything, I can tell you. Like you might say, "Oh man, something is going on this type of frequency." All you got to do is just sing at that tone and or hum at that tone in a pleasant way, and your body will basically you can do that for like a half an hour. If you do that for like a half an hour, your body will automatically transfer into that signal. All right? Um, one of the ways, one of the things that I do, a lot of times I play like meditative tones when I'm not home. The reason why is because I want the whole field, my whole home to be in that frequency of that tone. Sort of like a glass. If you sing at a certain pitch, the same pitch that a glass is vibrating on, you can break it, you know. So when I come in here, I'm vibrating in the same tone. I'm breaking the spiritual perimeter of my surroundings. If anything, I can tell you, me sharing some love with you about it, sharing some light with you. So these are the tones of Schumann bass. And then as you see, they keep on doubling their self. They keep on doubling, 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 doubling. You start off the 7 Schumann bass, you 7.83 hertz. All right. And then you keep on doubling that. And that's why I put it in the equation for y'all. I'll show y'all an equation with all the Schumann hertz in there. All right. So like when you chant 396 hertz, it's a root tone. Your breath cycle syncs to harmonic of 7.83 hertz. You become an active broadcaster. Okay. And that's why I was telling you creating resonance. All right. And this connects you to the root directory. All right. The modulation index. All right. It's determined by your emotional intent. Remember that. Shallow breath, low intent, low modulation. Deep breath, pure intent, strong modulation. The ionosphere responds accordingly. Now I'll run that back to you. Again, modulating index. This is your modulating index. You will have to create your own modulating index because I can't measure your emotion. You have to measure your own emotion, how you feel about things. So when you index, you figure how much you are triggered emotionally about something. And as you trigger these responses, you're able to add these to your breath equations. Now remember what I was saying with your breath equations, a lot of times you're utilizing irrational numbers instead of regular beats. Like, let's say you got 1, 2, 3, breathe in, 1, 2, 3, breathe out. Ooh, 3, 3. No, you use irrational numbers in order to connect up. That's why you have smartwatches and stuff because you program your smartwatches to do your breath exercises. I don't know for anybody that has these things, but you use a stopwatch. That's why I keep a stopwatch. People say, "Well, why you have a stopwatch?" That's old school. Because I'm doing breath exercises with this. I'm breathing at a certain rate because if you breathe at a certain rate, you can change the hurt response to your breath. I'm telling you, real talk. When you breathe in a certain rate, and I'll show you. But again, your emotional intent, you're gonna your own modulating index, you're going to have to create it yourself. Meaning that you have to jot down when you feel a certain way. So let's say if you feel nervous about something, you say, "Man, I'm at a 10. I'm at a 10. I'm nervous about this. I'm at a 10." If you're not nervous, let's say you go into an interview, man, you say, "Man, I'm going to ace this." You say, "Man, I'm not nervous about it." So you say, "I write down my nervousness. I'm at a 1. I'm at a 0 because I know I'm going to ace it. I know I'm going to get this. I'm going to ace this test. I'm going to ace this job. I'm going to ace this whatever." So that's how you get your modulating index. Now, this is what I'm saying. Like, these are higher degrees of perception. These are master lessons for those that want to know. But you have to utilize the numbers as well because you're going to utilize yourself as your own measuring stick. You'll know when the temperature is going up. You say, "Well, I'm pissed off. I'm really angry right now." Well, you got a modulating index for your anger. You got a modulating index for your love. Well, or for when you want to, let's say, have sex or something like that. You have a modulating index for that too. You have a modulating index for when you want to feel peaceful. You have a modulating index. You get what I'm saying here. All right. So all of these things are very important to you turning into the AM radio or AM for your body turning into the AM radio. Now, remember when I broke down the box? Yo, man, yeah, it's like that. It's I would say it's like that in a sense. It's like that in a sense, but it's more calculated. The reason why it's more calculated because you know one of the things that we're aiming to be is precise with whatever we doing. Remember, I told you, watch this, sis. Remember, I told you, real quick. Remember, I said this, right? Talk about your body. This machine right here, this is a machine, right? They made this machine from the human body. All right. Why is that? Because remember, you got look at this. Watch this. Let me break this down. I'm gonna show you with my body too. So 20 degrees is one. All right, 40 degrees is two, 60 degrees is three, 80 degrees is four, 100 degrees is five. See that? You see that? Look at it. Look at this. I'm telling you. 100 degrees is five, 120 degrees is six. Am I right? Look at that. 120. Y'all see it. Y'all see it. 120. Look, it's six right there. Look, 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 look. 100, 160 degrees is no 140 degrees. My fault. Is seven. That's 140 degrees. All right, and then you got 160 degrees. What is that? You see 160, right? That's eight, and then 180 is nine. That's your one through nine right there. That's that's your one through nine. My fault. Y'all didn't even hear me. Y'all heard. Y'all probably heard a little bit. Y'all know what I was saying though, right? One one is 20 degrees. Y'all saw it. I don't know if I was in a microphone saying that. One is 20 degrees, two is 40 degrees, three is 60 degrees, four is 80 degrees, five is 100 degrees, six is 120 degrees, seven is 140 degrees, eight is 160 degrees, and nine is 180 degrees. All of this is from your body. All of that is from your body. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 140, 160, 180. I just did that from my body, y'all. I just did that from my body. That's straight from my body right there. You get what I'm saying? So that machine, what came first, that machine or the body? Yes or no? What came first, that protractor machine or the body? The body came first. All right. So you was measuring the universe with your body before you were utilizing machines like that in order to measure or to build something. You wasn't going in to build something with a protractor. You using your body to build something. You measured, you knew the square of wherever you was at, right? You knew the volume of wherever, all right? And then you was able to, you know, you was able to measure every your arc or however the degrees and angles by your body. This was it. This is all operating from the dot. That's why I said it's 361 degrees in a circle because you operating from the dot. Once you know that you are the dot, you're able to measure everything from yourself, everything from your center. Real simple, even experience. So, yeah, this is important to know all these calculations because what star system when you want to connect up to? Remember, I said like you utilize your hands to basically send the signal. They're signal emitters. They're not antennas. Your hands aren't the antennas. Your lungs and your breath is the antenna of your AM radio. Your lungs and your breath are your lungs is a signal array, but your breath is like the antenna because this is how you connecting up to the ionosphere. You know the ionosphere. You know another name they call it the Akasha records, yo. They call the ionosphere the Akasha records. Another name the ancients called it. Maybe I'm too fancy for y'all. I should just be like calling it something that the ancients called it or something like that. Nah, the ionosphere is like the Akashic records. Another name for it is the Akashic records. All right. So yeah, man. Yeah, I was breaking that down, man. I was breaking all of that stuff down. I was like, these are congruent angles of 120 degrees. All right. These are congruent angles of 120 degrees. In Genesis chapter 6, verse 3, that sounds familiar, right? It sounds like three sixes. You were only given 120 years because God's spirit wasn't going to dwell with man because he was flesh. Yo, you know what that 120 was? That 120 years represent 120. I got 10 fingers, 10 toes. I got 120. You got 10 fingers, 10 toes. You got 120. It's 2020. We got 2020 on it if we together, but that's the 120. But the 120 represented 2020 vision. 1 times 20 is 20, but 20 times 20 is 400. That's the four-part symmetry mind. Because in order to tap when you're lost, you have to tap into all fours. You have to get on all fours, which is north, east, south, and west, which is the base of the box. All right. But that 120 represented your perception. All right. And that's when we went up to the height. I broke all of that stuff down. All right. I broke all of this stuff down for the people that's just getting this bill. This 120, it represented perception, but that 120 was also the bottom represented the 12. And that's when I connected you with this. All the dimensions of the box is 8 times 12 times 6 equals 576, which is 24 squared, which is 576. All right. Real talk. Now, when you think about it, the height of this object is 16 because you think about the 24 hours that they put us in. This is all part of what they got us locked. This is a part of prison, a mental prison. So you separated that 24 hours and got 24 day and 24 night. Excuse me, 12 day and 12 night. All right? 12 of darkness and 12 of light. But you was looking for the height of your reality because you was looking for the most high. You was looking for the most high. All right? And that height of the reality, in order to do that, you had to break out of Saturn. And Saturn had us trapped with IPv4. All right? That was a part of what Saturn utilized to trap us as well. All right? And I'll break that down. You see that? The four-part symmetry of the mind. That's what 400 breaks down to. Somebody say, well, what? Yes. My fault. I don't know if y'all can hear me. Y'all make sure y'all can hear me. I'm still on deck. All right. It might be your Wi-Fi too. Check it. So when you look at the four-part symmetry of the mind, and I broke this stuff down, if you go into the Messiah Code, the Messiah Code actually breaks this stuff down. I'm gonna share a little bit with you on that. Insofar as the four-part symmetry of the mind. Here it is right here. So yeah, this is coming from the Messiah Code book. You can get this book from Amazon if you want. It's for $13, or you can get it's on Kindle as well. You can get it for like $3.33. Okay. But I'm not here to sell any books. That's not what I'm doing. I just want to share some information with you. All right. This is the book, the Messiah Code, right? This is the four-part symmetry of the mind. This is the image of the four-part symmetry of the mind. All right. This is the image of it. It's the tetrahedron. Now, remember, shut up. No problem. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, why is this? Because remember the box. Remember, I said you have to go to the angle, which is the angels, and the angle was the corner of the box. Now, I took you to ancient Hebrew and I said that the corner was Dabir. And also, Dabir is translated to mean matrix. When you see the word matrix in the Bible, a lot of times in the Old Testament, it is Dabir, which represents the innermost niche of the temple or the corner. Now, I took that corner to represent the corner of the box or the angle that the light shines through, the prism. This was your prism right here, all right, which became a tetrahedron. And the tetrahedron is symbolic of the four-part symmetry of the mind. Now, I broke that down to you. I said it is shell, male, cow, and sail. Shell represents the observer, the one that just observes without judgment, just observes. Then you got male, which is the thinker. You ever just think of thought? You're like, where are these thoughts coming from? I don't know. Why am I thinking it? Why am I just thinking this? Why? Why are these thoughts come into my mind? Because male is just simply the generator of thoughts. But then you have two other things, which is which is cow and sail. Cow represents will. That's your ability to decide the information, to choose what you want to do. And everybody has will. And you have to respect everybody's will. It's not just your will. It's not just like you thinking of something and this is your world. And hey, I'm it's my world. It's my fantasy world. And everybody's in my fantasy world. No, it's not like that. We are in a coexistence. So you got to respect somebody's will or respect when somebody take the will because they might crash into you. Am I right? So we don't live in a world where it's just me. It's just a product of what I'm thinking. No, the world is not just a product of what you are thinking. It is a cesspool of what everybody is thinking. Because we are all collectively part of the body. Anything else is individualism. And that's something that we don't deal with the Messiah Code. All right? We are connected as one body, as one whole. If anybody asks me, well, what God I call upon God as number one. But when I say number one, I don't mean number one as when the Muslims are talking about Allah as being one God. I'm talking about God being whole, or this universal principle being whole, and representing wholeness. All right. So cow represents will. And then you got sail. Sail represents to reflect, to remember, to reflect on these things. This is the four-part symmetry of the mind. Now remember, shell represents the turtle, the great ancestor. Then you got uh um a male which represents the owl, and I broke that down. What owl represent the sacred name, which is Lamel, and then I took you to cow, which represents the feline. It represents the cat. See, the turtle teaches you how to move patient with patience, but the cat teaches you how to move with grace. Because when you are like, if you notice the cat, it lands on its feet, you throw it down, or when it comes in the room, it's tiptoeing. It's You got to learn how to move gracefully through life. You can't just be rushing through or going wild or running berserk or all the time when things happen. You got to move gracefully. Let things flow gracefully. That's what it's truly all about. And that is cow. And cow is the feline. But cow has eyes too, the spiritual eye. The feline has a spiritual eye to see into the spiritual world. All right. But then you got sail, and sail represents the ears. It's reflection, but sail is more or less like to listen. Sail is the fish. Sail is like, connected to the listening aspect of one's being. Being able to listen and reflect on these things that you listen to. Because if I hear something, it's different than you listening to it. Because I hear a lot of stuff. I hear them talking a lot of stuff about me. I hear them talking, but I'm not listening to it. I'm not listening to it at all. All right. So that's the difference. All right. So that's the four-part symmetry of the mind. Let me read a little bit of this, and let me get like probably about, I guess, about 10 minutes of your time, because we're going to log off at 1:11. So we got this thing synchronized because I logged in at 11:11. All right. So we'll log out at 1:11. Oof. And it might be somewhere like on the east, in California, y'all might be at 11:11 or 10:11. So we got all the numbers synchronized. Let's go. Well, let's go. So look, let me break this stuff down real quick. Look. So the mind is not a voice, it is a cathedral of echoes, chambers of awareness layered in frequency. What you call thinking is often a byproduct of deeper processes running beneath perception. Then I took you to Proverbs 20:27. The spirit of man is a candle of the Lord, searching all its inward parts of the belly. To understand the mind, you must first understand its structure. It does not exist in one plane. It operates in a four-part symmetry: thought, observation, will, and reflection. These are not just functions, they are intelligences. Then I took you to Surah El Shams 91, 7 through 8. By the soul and the proportion and order given to it, and its enlightenment as to its wrong and its right. Verse 3. In the higher architecture of the code, these four principles manifest as shell, male, cow, and sail. These are not names, they are streams, each representing a distinct gate of mind awareness in Harukment, which is motion. The emerald tablet of Thoth, and I took you there. Look at this. That which is above is like that which is below to accomplish the miracle of one thing. Verse 4. Shell is the observer, the one who sees without judgment. Shell records without becoming attached. Shell is clarity before emotion. Shell is awareness before definition. Without shell, there is no discernment, only reaction. Then I took you to Matthew 6:22. The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. Male is the generator of thought. Male possesses input, creates possibility, and forms dialogue. Male is the architect of imagination, the field of mental creation. But male must be directed. Without order, male loops in circles. And I took you to Proverbs 23:7. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Cow is will. Cow is the active force that moves decision from the inner world to the outer one. Cow executes the code. Cow doesn't just think, it acts. It is the principle of alignment through motion. When cow is corrupted, intentions are scattered. And then I took you to James 2:26. All right. Faith without works is dead. Will without action is disorder. All right. Verse 7. Cell is reflection. Cell holds the archives, the memory banks of the soul across lifetimes. Cell speaks through emotion, resonance, and recall or recall. Cell is the keeper of the mirror. Without sail, you forget. Without memory, there can be no purpose. Deuteronomy 6:12. Then beware, lest thou forget the Lord which brought thee forth. These four form the square within the circle, a field of stability inside the infinite. Together, they stabilize consciousness and allow it to operate in both time and beyond time. Without balance, the mind becomes a glitch, a loop in the matrix. And then I took you to Ezekiel 1:10. Wow. Vision of the four living creatures, four with four faces, a lion, a man, a lion, an ox, an eagle, representing the multi aspect of consciousness. All right. So two is what you see from below, four is what you live from above. Two. What appears as duality becomes symmetry in higher dimensions. That is why when you square the number, you don't just get its value, you get its echo in form. And then I took you to Surah 12, 112, 1 through 4. 112, 1 through 4, and say Allah is the whole, not the one. Allah is the whole, and there is none comparable to it. All right. So it's various different things when we talk about the four symmetry, um, how the mind operates as the four part symmetry. All right. And I was taking you to that when we was talking about breaking out of the box. See, one of the hardest things, and I'm gonna talk about this four situation. When we became gods and goddesses, I only got like 5 more minutes. No, 3 more minutes. Let me get off at 111. It's 108 right now. Hear me out. Listen, when we became gods and goddesses and all of that, a lot of us didn't want to get on all fours. Like we said, man, I'm too proud to get on all fours. Be like I'm a god, man. I'm not getting on all fours, Lamel. Like, are you crazy? I'm not getting on all fours. I'm a god. I'm not getting on all fours because we were too proud of who and what we thought we were as gods and the statue. But it's important to know to get on all four is it's not just the fact that you're representing humility or you know humility to whatever you represent or whatever you're giving your power to, but it actually represents you're plugging into the earth. This is a way to generate the signal, okay? Because this is part of the four-part symmetry. You got positive and negative in both e- equations. As far as your feet and your knees, these are positive and negative. They operate like a circuit, okay? But most importantly, you're attached with north, east, south, and west. So if you thought God left you lost or you were lost in a certain place, you always can find yourself by just simply going on all fours, going on your knees. All right. And this helped you get out of the box. This is so north, east, southwest is the square, but this is also multiplication, division, adding, and subtraction. And these are the four things that you need in order to create the AM radio. You need air, fire, earth, and water. You need all four of those elements as well in order to tap and create the IM radio. So yeah, I have to continue this discussion. I'll come back with it. I'll come back with it. I got a lot of stuff for y'all that I wanted to share with you. Here's an equation for you. You can write it down. Write this equation for you. So your amplitude is equals your emotion. Spiritual charge 1 through 10. Now I said, remember, you're gonna have to your modulating index. You're gonna have to write down how you feel. You're gonna have to attribute a number to how you feel when you applying your emotional tent to your meditation. And you're going to have to create a simulation. Like, let's say if you want to make that connection and you're saying, I'm not operating, and you say, my modulating index, you say, I'm not really at a 10. You're going to have to create a simulation where you're operating at a 10 so you can create the right signal. But Here's the equation for you to write down. This is homework for everybody that's watching this video here. All right, this is your homework. So amplitude is your emotional spiritual charge. X equals your breath cycle number, how many conscious breaths. Okay. B, that's um B equals frequency. Excuse me. F equals frequency. I don't know why I didn't put it in there. Because B is breath. A A A is amplitude. All right, because B and my fault, B and F are connected because the reason why B and F are connected because they're connected to your to 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 when you are breathing out. All right, breathing out and breathing in. All right, so that's part of your frequency. All right, but C is also connected to your duration of seconds. All right, and you can create your meditation this way. Now remember when we was talking about connecting up to the certain star constellations, you already got the map how to make yourself into a protractor. If you want to create, like let's say if you want to connect with um because each star constellation has a different energy. Thank you, sis. I'm about damn. I went over that minute. Dang. I've been listening. Thank you. Thank you, sis. Let's say if you want to connect up to a certain star constellation, you would actually utilize yourself as a protractor to connect that. Now you would have to find out where that star constellation is. Now each star constellation has an energy attached to it. Okay? And these are the energies that we want to receive or the signals that we want to transmit. There are apps on your phone that you can get as well where you can find out where this certain constellation is. And then you should study certain constellations, planets where they're at in these constellations and see how it works for you and tell me what you get. Okay? We also have the purple pill. I'm not going to do that today, but we have the purple pill. As you know, in order, you know, um we don't take the blue pill or the red pill in the matrix, we take the purple pill. The purple, see the thing is when you bring those blue and red together, it actually eliminates the power of both blue and red and it becomes something different, which is purple. But you see, these are the purple pills right here. These are the stones. I do readings with these stones. Excuse me. I do readings with these stones. It's a reading for me pulling them out. None of these moments. With me pulling out, the ancestors are talking to us. I can tell you. I'm gonna tell you. Look, this is what the ancestors told us from what I pulled out, and these are stones are connected to the planets as well. Thank you. I am joy. Wow. You see this? These are the stones. So it says the stones are saying this is what the stones are saying. I'm gonna show you. Y'all can see the symbols. So the stones are saying, shout out to I am joy. Thank you. Thank you for your time. So these were the stones. For anybody here that's connected to this energy, this is a reading for you. All right. I'm gonna give you a reading. All right. So I got 5 stones and I pulled out 5 stones, and this is what it means. So it means in your partnership. Oh man, shout out to Cotton Fear, man. She's a Messiah Code All-Star. Thank you for sticking with me for so many years. I love you, sister. I know it's been a long time. Make sure you connect up with me. So your partnership is going through a journey of sort. All right. In this journey, you guys got to protect each other. In this journey, y'all got to protect each other because you're protecting each other is your health. Because these are the same sign, but when this is the opposite of this. This is called a reversal. This is the reversal of this. So when I pull this out, this represent protection, but this represent protecting your health. So you're protecting each other through your health. All right? Having a healthy relationship, and that will lead to success. This is the symbol for successful outcome. For me to read the stones to y'all once again, this is your partnership. This represents your partnership. These are two winds in the stones. Your partnership is going through a journey. All right. And that journey, you have to protect each other. But what do you have to protect? You have to protect your health. Your health is important. And that will lead to a successful outcome. Cool. I love you. And it's a book associated with this. If you want, if you want to read the stones, the magic stones, it's a book called The Magic Stones of the Codex. You can get this book if you want. It's a really good book. I'll tell you the planets associated with them. That'll be another thing. But yeah, you can get this book. It's $13 on Amazon. You can get it. It's a very good book. And then, but the stones, you're gonna have to you have to make your own stones or order them from me. If you order the stones from me, I'll personally make your stones for you. If you order your stones from me, all right? I will personally make your stones for you. You might ask me how much. I'm not gonna cost. It's not gonna cost anything. Just get the book. I'll make the stones for you because I think for me it's gonna be from my heart. You just have to pay for the shipping and handling. I'm gonna say that. But otherwise than that, I'll make you a set of stones for you. These got the sacred symbols on them, so it's important. Okay? For anybody that's interested, just tell me you got the book. You can hit me up on an inbox and say, "Yo, man, I got the book. Can you make this? Can you make me a set of stones and just send them to me? And I'll make you some stones. I'll go chisel you out some stones and I'll make you some stones. Okay? What's up? Any questions before I get off? Any questions or comments? Any questions or comments before I get off? I want to say thank you, man. I know it's on a late night and it's a little bit different, but I felt the spirit to come on. Spirit told me to come on. And thank you. I ran into Kind of Fear and I ran into a couple new friends. I'm really happy. Kind of Fear is an all-star. She's an all-star. I really love Kind of Fear. She's been with me for I'm gonna say at least 7 years. Kind of Fear been with me for 7 years. Yeah, I love y'all, man. Thank you. Thank you for y'all time. Yo, look at this. Mimi, look, Jamila. She been with me for I'm gonna say Jamila been with me about 6, 7 years. Right, Jamila? You Jamila been with me for like 6, 7 years. Man, I love y'all. I really love y'all. This is a family. This ain't no, yo, y'all picked up a phone. Y'all, listen, for anybody on here, listen, 7 years. Jamila been with me for 7 years. For anybody on here, yo, we family. This ain't, yo, y'all think, man, he broadcasting. Anybody in the YouTube, oh man, he doing a broadcast. No, I'm not doing a broadcast. I'm doing a phone call, and y'all are family members that picked up the phone. And we just having a discussion. I've been You've been with me with the purple hearts. Thank you. You said I was I was running upstairs to get back. I love you. If anything that y'all get from my discussion, I know I talk about a lot of fly stuff or whatever. My main discussion is really about love. The common denominator of all these things is really love. We gotta love one another. A common thing, one of the things that I say, I love the love, and I love the love, and I love to be loved. And I think everybody should adapt that. We should adapt that. You say, yo, this is my first time. Yo, yo, I prayed for you. For anybody that came on here, my word to God, the Most High, I prayed for you. Man, I said, God, please give me one person, please, one new person. And everybody here was that one person that I prayed for. Everybody. Kimberly was that one. Conafir was that one. Jamila was that one. Denise was that one. Man, freaking Lauren was that one. Bankstar was that one. Man, my brother Anku was the one. Christina was the one. Y'all were the ones that I prayed for y'all, man. I pray for us to become whole, for us to find each other. It's hard finding each other, man. This world is weird. It has a lot of fictional characters in it. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. This world got a lot of fictional characters, man. And if you ain't on your P's and Q's, you might end up being one. Might end up turning into a fictional character. Just saying. Yo, that's beautiful. I really mean that from my heart. I would like to introduce myself. I'm Solar Prime Supreme, Lazarus Lamel. Will you just call me Laz? Or brother Lamel. But Lamel is just a title. It's not me. Lamel represents us as a whole, as if Lamel represents when we are together as one. If I'm speaking for the whole, I might call myself Lamel at times. Keep it real. If I'm speaking for us collectively, I might say I might call myself Lamel, but otherwise than that, I'm Laz, brother Laz. I'm BB Laz, BB Lamel, big brother, baby brother, whatever you want me to be, for real. You know. What else I want to say, man? I hope y'all learned a lot. It just running a review. I did a lot of things right in here, but I'm gonna simplify it real quick. I talked about a lot of stuff. To simplify it, it's about chanting. Like if you chant something over and over again, it'll solidify. If you do say something over and over again, but you gotta be in the right mind state, it'll solidify into something. All right, you just say it over and over again, and you create resonance into the universe. But it's also your emotion has to be in the right place. If your emotion is in the right place, the universe, these things would how should I say it? It's like you ever throw a ball and somebody catches it like right, it just went right there because they caught it right there. It's like you throwing something at the universe, and the universe is right there to catch it like woo. And then let you know you all right, you good. Don't worry about it. You good, I caught you. You know what I'm saying? Word. I'm Sheila. Sheila. Did I say your name? Is that it's S-E, it's Siella, Sheila? I said it wrong. Ciela or Cia. I don't know. Or if it's Spanish, it might be Cia. Cia. I don't know. Hopefully I said that right. It's all good. If you watching from the YouTube and you using your phone, you actually can get my books. You can use these what's the name codes to get my book. Any one of my books. You can use these barcode, these QR codes to get my books. You know what I'm saying? If you're interested in the information. Otherwise, now we can just kick it on here. I have no problem kicking it on here, just enjoying life and sharing thoughts. So, and another review, look, another review for everybody that's on here that's new. Yo, thank you. Like, these are the books. I'll show you some of the books. I'll show you some of the books real quick. My fault. My fault. I accidentally cut off the mic. I'm sorry. Y'all hear what I was saying? Man, my fault, y'all. Did y'all hear what I was saying about the y'all hear what I was saying about the children's book, right? My fault. You said LOL. Yo, y'all funny, man. Yo, y'all funny. You're like, oh, can't hear you. My fault. It's the I pushed the button on here. The button is right next to my fist. I'm gripping it. Yo, I'm gripping it with the Kung Fu GI Joe grip. You remember that Kung Fu G? I'm like, ah, and the button right there. Like, yo, Lamel, you grabbing that joint too hard, bro. Like, ah, like you too tense right now, bro. Chill. You chill. All right, before I get off, look, I got one more minute. Yo, I'm joking. Look, The Secrets of Halloween. I'm Still Here, which is a very lovely book. Thank you, baby. Thank you. Soul in a Computer, very good book. This is kind of a IT book. So this is really for IT people. I would say if you have any IT background, this is a really good book for you. Um, because that's what I am. This is a Taino book. This the Return of the Taino. Because I am a Taino. You know, my people come from Puerto Rico or what is called Barican. So that's a book. This pilgrimage vacation is definitely a page turner It's talking about the journey within, and of course, we got other books I showed y'all. Um, this the Wallow Hand Manual. I think everybody should have this. That's a part of the tribe. Y'all should have it. Oh, so I'm gonna sign off. It's 1:31. Yo, man, shoot me an inbox. Shoot me some love, man. Shoot me a digital hug or something. I love y'all, man. Y'all have a blessed day tonight, or y'all have a good night tonight. Enjoy y'all time.